Yes, you lovely people, if you're not already, make sure you give us a follow over on Spotify. Somebody I played with at West Brom, and I've got to say, I enjoyed playing with him because I knew exactly what I was going to get from him every single time. Hello everybody, I'm Ben Foster. This is the Fozcast. Today it is just me and Rhino Legs. Tom, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm wicked, mate. You all good?
I'm very, very good. It's been a busy couple of weeks, hasn't it, mate?
Mate, we've had a busy couple of weeks, but we've got some good guests. We had
Some
a bit of a
guests.
day yesterday, didn't we, to be fair?
Yeah, we did.
Where we've had a lot of calls out, and then they all came back in yesterday.
Yeah, so trying to organise people, sports people, YouTubers, whatever it is, to actually commit to a date, right, and to get it absolutely booked into the diary is a nightmare, isn't it?
It can be tough.
It's literally like you'll text them, you'll message them, yeah, can we do this date? Yeah, cool. And then you'll get a day before, 2 days before, and it's like, actually, I can't do it. So we're all over the shop, but we had a day yesterday and the day before and a little bit today where everything has just fallen into place, hasn't it?
Yeah. Do you want to tease our listeners and viewers with a couple of...
Yeah, so we'll go through the list, and it's a decent list, to be fair. We've got a good mix, haven't we?
Oh, mate, I think it's a very good list.
So let's start it off. Next week, we've got Adebayo Akinfenwa. Yeah? We've got Darren Bent.
Yeah.
We have got Toby Jizzle from the Sidemen.
Excited for him.
Toby is what a guy. I love that
Brilliant
guy. We have got Professor Steve Peters.
Super excited for that one.
That's going to be absolutely incredible.
And then we're in a little bit of a spell of GK Union then, aren't we?
Then we've got a GK Union one where we have got Kasper Schmeichel.
Big
Again,
up Kasper.
Absolutely buzzing for that one. Fraser Forster.
Yeah.
And Jared Bowen. It's a nice little list, isn't it?
That's a great list.
Yeah, we've got some bad boys coming. So, make sure you stay tuned because we are going to be belting this out of the park. So what are we doing today, Tom?
So you have been working on for the last 24 hours. Well, not for the whole 24 hours.
For about half an hour this
morning. Half an hour this morning. Your Dream 11.
Yeah, but it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as my Dream 11 of players that I've played with. It's not as simple as that because otherwise it would just be Man United and England and that just gets a bit boring. It's a bit of a alternate 11, isn't it?
Yeah, so we have got your Dream 11, best players you've ever played with, but there are a couple of rules. So we're going to do a maximum of 3 players. Per team.
Boom.
So that'll be 3 for Man United, 3 for England,
possibly 3 from Man United, possibly 3 from England. Watford, West Brom, Birmingham.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are going to assume that players are in their prime.
Okay.
So that is their prime version of themselves. Okay. We're old, so we're going 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And we're not going to overthink team shape, tactics, how they work together.
Boom.
We're just going on a player-by-player basis.
Okay, cool. So I've got my starting 11. I've got some players for the bench, and I've also got some players that I want to give honourable mentions to, okay?
Absolutely.
Because I've played with a lot of very good players, a lot of players that might not have the name and stature of some of these players that are in my starting 11, but I still need to mention them because I've enjoyed playing with them because they are proper players, yeah?
Yeah, and it was cool because we sent you a list of your squad list for every season that you've been a pro.
Every player that I've played with.
Yeah, and we were looking down it, weren't we? And there's like...
some ballers in there,
There's some
mate.
ballers and there's some trips down memory lane as well, isn't there?
For
Especially like when you were younger. So like when you were at Watford first time around and like I'd come home and away, all your family and that, we'd go home and away every single week. And some of the players in there, like Gavin Mann, Clark Carlisle, Jayden Merritt, Hammer Bawatsa, James Chambers,
Tumani Diagaraga. Who?
Moses Ashikodi.
Moses Ashikodi. Boom. There you go. All right, let's get into it then, yeah? So we're going to start with a goalkeeper.
Of course we are.
We're going to start with a goalkeeper. And if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, probably the thumbnail behind you is a little bit of a giveaway because there is a goalkeeper on there. And the goalie I've gone for is going to be Joe Hart, all right? And the reason why I've picked Joe Hart is obviously played with Joe at England. First and foremost, top goalie, like world-class goalie. When he was playing at Man City and he was in his pomp and he was absolutely smashing it, I've got to say, I used to watch him in training and think, wow, mate, you've got absolutely everything.
Did you think I'm not getting in this team?
Oh, all the time, for sure. That's all I ever thought was I'm not getting in this team because he was like the amount of energy that Joe Hart had, right, was just endless. Yeah. So I was obviously a few years older than Joe. I think I'm maybe 5 years.
He's 34 now.
So 4 or 5 years older than Joe. And we'd be training, and he would just be sort of like, he's like Tigger. He used to remind me of Tigger, out of Winnie the Pooh, just constantly bouncing around the place, energy to burn. We'd finish training, and there'll be a few players going, "Can we do some shooting with the goalkeepers?" And I was always just like, "Nah, come on, mate. I'm tired. Like, I just want to go and chill, like get in the pool or sit on my bed and have a nice time or whatever." Nah, he was like, "Yeah, all right, sweet as a nut, sweet as a nut." And he was a first choice goalie as well. So I was like, "Joe, you're killing me, mate."
Was he like that in everything? Like if you used to play with England, you used to play like table tennis or
Everything.
pool. Was he like that? Everything.
He was there. He was there on everything,
Brilliant.
mate. Whether it was we were playing cricket in the hallway, table tennis, darts, FIFA, you name it, pool. He was there, and he wanted to do it, and he wanted to play, and he wanted to have a nice time.
Because he's having a good time at Celtic now, isn't he?
He's smashing it at Celtic.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm buzzing for him as well because, like I said, he is a proper goalie. He's got absolutely everything you need to be a goalkeeper, right? I think his confidence took a little bit of a hit when he left Man City. But from what I've seen, from what he's doing out in Celtic, he is absolutely smashing it. And it's so good to see as well because he deserved that because he's a proper lad.
Because there's absolutely no reason why he can't perform or isn't performing to that level again. Because I don't think Joe Hart gets the respect that he deserves.
Nah, he
right?
doesn't, mate.
He's had 75 England caps.
Has he?
Right? 21 for the under-21s as well.
Nearly 100 England caps in total with
Right.
the 21s.
Okay, he's still only 34.
Yeah, he's still, mate. I
Proper
honestly
player.
think I came into my prime in my 30s. So between probably 30 to 36,
yeah, I
I'd
agree.
say I was probably in my prime. So I think Joe's still probably got another 2 or 3 years left at playing at that top level. It wouldn't surprise me that if he goes and smashes it this year with Celtic, he starts to get linked with Premier League teams again.
What's he like as a fella?
Oh, he's brilliant. Honestly, he's just lovely. He gets it. He gets what life's about. He gets what being a footballer about. He knows that it isn't all glitz and glamour. There are hard times. You go through highs and lows and ups and downs. And he's very good. Like his empathy level is very high. Like do you know what I mean? I think most goalkeepers are like that anyway. We are a little bit different to the outfield players. But he's absolutely top.
And tell us about the story where you and him took a little jog home from the golf course.
Yeah, that was in Brazil. We were stupid, mate. We were so stupid, honestly. Like, what we were playing golf. We had a free afternoon, and we've gone to play golf at a local golf course, which was probably like a mile away or something like that. And there were a load of lads there, and we were all playing. We played a goalie 3 or 4 ball, I think it was. So me, Fraser, Forster, and Joe. And we were the last ones to tee off, so we were the last ones to finish as well. But everybody that finished before us just wanted to get back to the hotel, kind of thing. But there were people everywhere. Everyone was trying to get on the course and take pictures and all that kind of stuff. So everybody had left by the time we had finished because we were just having a nice time, taking it nice and cash. But by the time we finished, there was no taxi ready to take us home because they had already taken some lads. But traffic was brutal in where we were on the Copacabana beach. The traffic was absolutely brutal, and they were like, "Listen, you're gonna have to wait 15, 20 minutes because they've still got to drop off and they've got to come back and pick you up." So we like, should we just like run back or something? Yeah. So we're in our England tracksuits, me, Fraser, Forster, Joe, and it was actually Phil Jajalka. Phil joined in with the goalies and made up the 4-ball for the goalie 4-ball. And we were like, should we just run back? It's only a mile away, like it's nothing, mate. As soon as we got out the gates to the golf club, we started running, but there were people everywhere, and everybody knew we were on the golf course playing. So
all in your kit,
all in our England kit. Obviously not football kit, in our tracksuits. Yeah, we're in our England tracksuits, and we're just like running down the road, mate. They were everywhere, like not chasing us, but they were running with us. Do you know what I mean? Running with us, trying to get pictures and selfies and all that kind of stuff. We got sort of like probably halfway back to the hotel, and thankfully the taxi that was coming back to pick us up saw us on the way back, like skirted in the middle of the road, did a U-turn, came, picked us back up, and we were safe. But yeah, it was a stupid thing to do, mate, because apparently out in Brazil, back out where we were, like you shouldn't be doing those sort of things.
Did you enjoy your time at the World Cup then? Now?
I loved it. I did. I absolutely buzzed off it. It didn't work out for the team. Like the team
knocked out when they
we got knocked out. We lost our first 2 matches to Italy and Uruguay. But no, we absolutely, what an experience, mate.
Do you always talk about that? I don't hear you often talk about like international stuff, but Brazil seems to be
it's a massive like box to tick. Yeah, massive box to tick because the fact that I can say to my kids, I played in a World Cup because we lost the first 2 matches. The third match in the group was against Costa Rica, but it was a dead rubber. I think both of us had already been knocked out, so it was like it was a chance for Roy Hodgson to play a few of the players that had travelled and supported the rest of the lads and stuff like that. So he told me he was playing. So yeah, when I got to play in a World Cup, kept a clean sheet as well. It was a 0-0 draw against Costa Rica. It was it was massive. It was really nice, to be fair. But without doubt, that was probably the highlight of my England career, as well as probably my debut as well against against Spain, even though we lost it, I think 1-0. Iniesta stuck one in from about 30 yards in the top schnitzel.
Absolute
Beautiful,
worldie, weren't it?
But so Joe Hart's my goalie, yeah. Joe Hart's my starting goalkeeper, right?
Edwin van der Sar.
I have to give an honourable mention to Edwin van der Sar because at Man United, I learned so much from him. I did. I learned so much, like not even just as a goalkeeper, as a bloke, how to carry yourself, how to behave, how to be professional, how to get yourself ready for games. He was absolutely top class, and as a goalie, my God, like the most calm, chilled guy you've
Effortless,
ever met.
wasn't he?
He was just effortless, mate. He would glide into rooms.
How big was he?
Oh, he was. He was
6'6", was he?
Easy, 6'7", 8" probably.
Was he?
He was massive. He was absolutely massive. But he was absolutely world class for Man United at that time.
GK,
What a
brilliant.
guy.
Well, that's a good start, isn't it? Right, we're going to go fullbacks now. Left back.
So left back, I've played with some very decent left backs, and the guy that sticks out to me most, and it was close, to be fair, it was close. There was two that are real top of their game, top left backs that if you talk about the history of the Premier League, you're talking left backs, these two would be up there.
No, do you know what? If we're talking the history of left backs ever,
Yeah.
one of them,
Yeah.
for me, is possibly the greatest of all time.
Is it the one in my team?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I love this.
I think he's the best ever.
So yeah, the left back I've chose again. He's on the thumbnail, so he gives it away a little bit. But Ashley Cole, mate, Ashley Cole was just frightening. Like
How good?
Like the top, mate.
Because I look at it as a football fan and think, he was something else.
He was something else, mate. Do you know what it was with him? He was clever. He was so clever enough to read games and stuff. But when you coupled it with the fact of his physical attributes, the fact that he was so fast, his acceleration was ridiculous. Like trying to beat him one-on-one was nigh on impossible because he was clever enough to go, right, I'll jockey you, and then if you try and knock it past me, I will be able to, because I'm faster than you, I'll be able to get back and I'll make the block, I'll make the tackle, and I'll make you look a fool.
Because doesn't Ronaldo say he's the best defender he's ever come across?
Yeah, exactly that. It's that one-on-one defending where when you have a really skillful, frighteningly fast attacking player, they know most of the time when they're coming up against a defender, even if it's left back or right back, they know that if they jockey them, they've got the faster acceleration. So they'll be able to knock it round them and run onto it and then either get a cross in or carry on from there. But with Ash Cole, you couldn't do that to him. You just couldn't because he was so fast and deceptively strong as well. Deceptively strong. Honestly, he would get his body in the way.
Good ball player.
He would hold. Beautiful, mate. He had everything. He had absolutely everything. There's no surprise that he had the career he did. You know, Arsenal, Chelsea. He went out to LA Galaxy for a little bit. How many England
Arsenal,
caps did he get?
Chelsea, Roma, Galaxy, finished with
Roma,
Derby.
yeah.
107.
England caps.
107 England
Wow.
caps. Right, here's a question for you then. Name a better left back in history. Just name one.
The only one that springs to mind is probably someone like Roberto Carlos, but he's a different left back. He's a different left back. Yeah, he's somebody who would he would attack like you wouldn't believe.
Is this a little bit like the conversations at the moment around like Trent and
people like that?
so,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly that. They were different players, but as a solid left back that you knew exactly what you're going to get from us, would get up and down the line, would get balls into the box, but would get back and defend with his life. Ashley Cole was phenomenal, and I'll give an honourable mention to Patrice Evra because being at Man United and playing with Patrice Evra, he wasn't a million miles off it, and I mean that as well because Patrice was just. He's a very similar sort of player.
Yeah.
A very similar sort of player. He had that sort of low centre of gravity.
Spring as well, didn't he?
Spring on him, rapid, wanted to win as well. The beauty of Patrice Evra, he had this like will to win. It was so good to see. He was just, it meant so much to him and he would give everything he could. He would put his body on the line. Yeah, to be fair, them two are proper top left backs,
legend. So with Patrice Evra, is he as appears like on socials? Is he life and soul?
Yeah, life and soul. He is. That's exactly what he's like. Just energy. Again, energy to burn. Just
Brilliant.
Always wanting to be amongst it. Wants to be with the lads. Wanting to be joking. When he was at Man United, he had this weird little like friendship group with Carlos Tevez and Ji-sung Park. Like I don't think they had like a common language that they spoke. They just muddled
French,
through.
South Korean, Argentinian.
And Argentinian, yeah. So I don't know what the heck they were speaking, but them three would just hang around together all the time.
What would they do? Just like go and hang out?
Nah, yeah, they were always joking and messing about and having a good time and stuff like that. And yeah, Patrice was always wanting to be in the middle of it, having a good time and joking about and stuff. Energy to burn.
That's brilliant. Okay. Right, so we obviously got 3 per team, so we're going right back here.
So what have we done? We've done England and we've done England.
So we've done England and England.
So we've done 2 England players already. So I've got 1 England player left to pick from, all right?
You have.
So where are we going to go? Right back.
We'll go right back now.
Okay, so Right back was a tough choice. Obviously I've played with the likes of Gary Neville, who honestly absolutely brilliant. People would probably say that he was limited as a right back because of what he could do and what he couldn't do. But he's somebody that you just wanted in your team. Gary Neville was incredible. He's not my starting right back though. My starting right back is going to be Stephen Carr from when I was at Birmingham. He was the captain, and he was somebody that we always used to look up to, always used to listen to. When he opened his mouth, we would shut up and listen. He was the captain in the cup final against Arsenal, in the League Cup, the one that we won 2-1. But just as a bloke, honestly, he was absolutely brilliant. And it was at an age. He was at an age where he was coming to the end of his career. I think when we won that season in the League Cup, he was 35 maybe.
Yeah, I think he was,
and I think the season before that, he had sort of half made his mind up to retire. So he was half thinking about retiring. He was going to just chuck it all in. He was like, "Sod it, I'll do another season." And I saw a Stephen Carr who was still at the top of his game. Honestly, he was an animal, and he used to all he used to do was drink Red Bull. I never used to see him eating. All he would do was drink Red Bull all the time, right? But he was an animal, mate. On a match day, fearless. He wouldn't pressure weren't even a thing to him. He just did his job. Do you know what I mean?
He was rapid, wasn't he?
Rapid, mate.
Like back in the day. So he was Steve Carr was Spurs, Newcastle, Brunt, 99%
Republic of Ireland.
Yeah, he had 44, surprised me actually, 44 caps for Ireland, now 45.
Yeah.
Stephen Carr. I actually played golf with him once.
Well, why?
We had the Blues golf day.
Where at the Warwickshire was it?
No, it was at the Belfry,
okay.
at the Brab. And I knew I liked him after about 5 minutes because we set off down the first and he cracked open the side of his bag and he tossed me a can of lager.
Did he?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he spoke to you much, to be honest with you, because he's one of those guys, right, who he likes the people that he knows. Yeah, if you know him, he's brilliant. But if you don't know you, I could imagine he would have been standoffish. So that's nice that he did that.
He was good as gold.
No, he was wicked, honestly. And he was a stocky little git, though. He was a tank, mate. Honestly, his whole body was just tank. He was honestly not an ounce of fat on him. Right? He was incredible. That's all he did. I never used to see him eat Red Bull all the time.
Good player.
What a player.
There we go. So left
workhorse,
back. So you've got a couple of workers getting to get up and down there,
up and down, mate. Yeah, that's a nice little start. So we've gone England, Birmingham. Boom.
Right, Blues fans will be happy then. Centre back.
So centre backs.
We're gonna have a chat about this one.
Really? You're not happy with these centre backs?
Hey, mate, it's your team. You're the pro.
Okay, so the first centre back I'm going to pick is somebody that I played with at England.
Yes.
And so this is the third choice from England. I can't take any more from England now, by the way. So starting centre back for England, honestly, mate, he's got to be up there in terms of Premier League anyway, as probably one of the best centre backs the Premier League has seen. For sure, right? For sure. Probably the reason why he won't be in a lot of people's best ever Premier League team is because a lot of people like to pick a centre-back pairing. They like to pick the likes of like Nemanja Vidic and Rio Ferdinand, or Van Dijk and like Matip or something like that. They like to pick the centre-back pairing. But I'm not going to do that, right? I'm going to pick it based on just purely of what I saw when I was away with England, and John Terry was just levels.
What
honestly.
made him so good?
It was his will to win and will to stop balls and will to stop the ball going in the back of the net. Like he was so driven. He would read the game incredibly well, deceptively fast.
Was he?
Deceptively fast. Strong as you like. He would win balls in the opposition box to score headers. He would win balls in our box to clear it away. But it was just his drive and natural ability to try and stop that ball going in the back of the net. He was just a worrier. Like he would... And when I say worrier, I don't mean somebody who would worry a lot.
Warrior.
A warrior. He was a warrior. He would, though, mate. He would stick his head on the end of a boot all day long, mate. He didn't care. Like, the amount of times he would get boots in the face, cuts on the eyes, all that kind of stuff.
But he would read the game, obviously, incredibly well.
So well, mate. You had to read the game well. To have the career he did, playing for Chelsea, playing for England.
He's won the lot.
He's won
FA
everything,
Cup,
mate.
League Cup, 5 Prem, Champions League, Europa League, PFA Player of the Year, FIFA Pro World 11 multiple times.
How many England caps did he get?
78.
78.
And 6 goals.
Wow, decent.
So, knocking on 10%.
Yeah, decent. Yeah,
goal ratio.
Nah, mate, he was absolutely top class. Again, it's a lot of people like to have a set centre back pairing where you go with the two, but just from pure individual ability at centre back, it's John Terry.
Okay, we've got an honourable mention here for Gerard Pique.
Gerard Pique, yeah. What
a lot of
guy.
the younger viewers won't know. So when you and Gerard were kids at United together, he was
He was
went back.
Yeah, it was. Do you know what, Gerard? Right, Gerard was like he was one of the fringe players. He wasn't really playing a lot. He was on the bench a lot. Again, like you say, though, you had Rio Ferdinand, you had Nemanja.
This was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. This was what 15 years. 15 years ago, right? And you had that set centre back pairing. So Gerard knew he wasn't going to get a kick. He had no chance of getting in ahead of them two, but he was undeniably. Incredible centre back. You could just tell that he was an incredible centre back. And I actually got on really well with him, to be fair, because like I say, we were both sort of on the fringes. We weren't really playing, so we would sort of we would just get on with each other, kind of thing. But I remember the day that he told me that he was leaving. He was going to sign for Barcelona. It was the end of the season, and we were playing Wigan. I don't know if we had already won the Premier League or not. I don't know if we had or not, but we were walking on the pitch before the game, and none of us were playing that day. And we were just chatting, and he was like, "Fozzy, this is me. I'm going in the end of the season." I was like, "What? Where are you going?" He was like, "I'm going Barcelona. I've done it. It's like it's all been agreed. Like contract's been done, all that kind of stuff." And I was like, "Nah, mate, you can't leave me. Like, do you know what I mean? You're my mate." And he was like, "Yeah, it's all done. Like, contract's been signed, sealed, like everything. They've agreed a fee with Man United." I was like, "Oh, mate." So, like, obviously, I knew he was a very good player, and I knew he was go on to have a career. But what a career he had!
Incredible. So, like at the time, obviously, you got Rio and Nemanja playing at the back. Could United have done anything to stop him going, or the fact that he was a Spanish boy and he was kind of going home? Was it just? It's one of them where he's going to go.
It's inevitable. There's nothing you can do unless you're going to say, right, we're gonna sell Nemanja or we're gonna sell Rio. Even then, I think when Barcelona comes in for you, when you're a Spanish boy, when you're a local, it's too good to turn down for him. So, like I say, it's a shame for Man United, but there was no way you were stopping that.
No, that's fair enough. Right, big question. Well, first statement first. So Spotify have just done a deal with Barca.
Yes,
that was announced this week. So we're going to get your boy Gerard on the Fozcast.
There we go. Why don't we get on that? Gerard's a clever guy now. You know, you see him doing like business courses and stuff, don't you?
Really?
See, this is the thing. When he was younger, like you don't get to see how he's going to evolve as a person. Like, you knew that he's a good footballer and he was a good lad and all that kind of stuff. But he's turned into a proper leader for Barcelona, like the mainstay. Do you know what I mean? Him and Carlos Puyol back in the day, like the main men. Do you know what I mean? The ones you would look up to, the leaders. Like it's class. It's so good. It's so good Puyol. To see like that kind of player turn into that.
We'll have to get him on.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely incredible. If we could get out to the.
We'll go to Barca.
What do they call it? The Spotify Nou Camp,
I think.
Yeah, the Spotify
Nou Camp.
The Nou Camp. Yeah, how cool is that?
Well, I think we could go there, couldn't we?
Spotify, can you hook it up, please? That'd be nice.
Will you hook it up? He's your mate.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Right, so we've got JT at the back. Okay, great back four at the moment. So JT's partner at the back, Fozzy, is.
Okay, so I'm going to go down a little bit of a left field one. Somebody that was massively underrated, okay? Massively underrated. Somebody I played with at West Brom. And I've got to say, I enjoyed playing with him because I knew exactly what I was going to get from him every single time. Gareth Macaulay. A lot of people won't even know who Gareth Macaulay is, but he came into football actually really quite late. He worked a lot when he was younger, proper got a job and all that kind of stuff. I don't even think he turned pro until he was like 24, 25 or something. You played at Ipswich, all that kind of stuff.
Leicester, Ipswich.
Yeah, he didn't do it a conventional way. But when I signed for West Brom, there was this guy, Gareth Macaulay, he was ill. He was like so ill, it was a joke, right?
Like a norovirus-y type.
He was mad. He had this like weird bug where he was just losing weight, so he couldn't train, right? So he was just turning in every day. He was like skin and bones, like his face was gone. And I'm thinking, who are you? Like I've never even heard of you, and you're just ill. Like it's so weird. Like
compassionate, then, yeah.
Yeah, no, obviously he's a lovely guy, like, but just ill. And I was thinking, oh god. So he didn't train for ages. It was literally for like 3 or 4 weeks. He didn't train or anything. I must have lost 5 or 6 kilo, easy, 10 kilo maybe. But then eventually he got well. He had like a stomach bug sort of thing, and it just wouldn't go away. So anyway, eventually got well. Got sort of eating again, put some weight on. And I remember his first ever training session back with the lads, and he joined in, and Roy Hodgson was a manager, and the poor bloke, he just couldn't do a thing right. He was kicking stuff out. He was passing it to nobody. I was thinking, you are brutal. Like, you have got no chance, mate. You're miles off it, yeah? And I still talk to him about this story now, and he laughs and just says, mate, I was all over it. And he was all over the shop. But anyway, he got back to it, right? He started, like I say, put some weight on, got the muscle bulk back. And then he turned into an absolute player, mate.
Oh, he was unbelievable.
He was unbelievable. Like, when I said under the radar, right, I mean under the radar, because I used to play with him week in, week out. His acceleration was a joke. He was 6'5". His acceleration was a joke. His top speed was an absolute joke. I think one season he had the highest top speed in the Premier League.
Really?
Not even joking.
Wow,
You.
okay.
Gareth Macaulay, top speed in the Premier League. He would read the game well. He was like professional as you like. He would never moan. He would never like get after anybody. He would just do it properly every single time.
He scored as well.
He would
scored
score goals for fun.
A little bit like Dawes, wouldn't he?
He would score goals for fun. Him and Craig Dawson would. I was so lucky I never had to actually play against Gareth Macaulay and Craig Dawson, because I can imagine that when it's a corner or a free kick and you've got Chris Brunt standing over it, right? You look at them two and you just think, oh, no, I don't need this. I don't need this, because them two would attack a ball better than most people I've seen in my career. And Gareth Macaulay at the other end would be heading balls away. You knew what you were going to get from him. He was so reliable. West Brom fans will know what I'm talking about, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he was world class, honestly.
200 odd games for West Brom.
Yeah.
80 caps for Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
9 goals.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, that's impressive, isn't it?
He was top, mate. Honestly, you knew, like, every time we got a set piece, right, we knew we had half a chance of scoring, and that's a nice feeling, because you obviously rely on sort of goals coming from free play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lovely bit of interchange and movement, and just sticking it in the corner. When we got a set piece, a corner or free kick, we knew we had half a chance of scoring, and we would get in teams' heads that it was going to be a bad day. It was going to be an horrible game to play against us.
Mega. Obviously, you could only pick 3 from United, but with England as well, we've got honourable mention as well. It's obviously more than an honourable mention for Rio.
For sure, yeah. Rio.
I mean, I'm interested to chat to you about that. So Rio and JT, looking at your back four. So let's just summarise: goalie Gerard, left back Ash Cole, right back Steve Carr, centre backs Nemanja Vidic and JT.
Yeah, but there's a reason why I can't get Rio in the team, because I've picked other Man United players, and we'll see who they are.
You like a certain type of defender, don't you,
mate,
Ben?
I want a defender who I know what I'm going to get from. I like a Mr. Reliable, like big, strong. Will head it, kick it out, get it as far. Like it's not an over exaggeration to say, get the ball to the good players, yeah? Give the ball to the skillful players, the midfielders, the strikers. Give it to them and let them do the good stuff, all right? Yeah, that's what I want from my centre-backs.
How good was Rio, though?
Rio was just
something else.
He was elegant, mate. He was elegant. He was a kind of defender who would never, ever walk off the pitch with mud on his shorts or mud on his shirt, because he read the game so well. Because he was so fast, right? He would see it coming. He knew exactly what was going to happen. He would read the game, and he would just step across people.
Loved him.
And he would read it so well. He was just, honestly, he was so beautiful. Like, obviously, when, you know, he's played for Leeds, he's played for West Ham, a lot of money people have bought him for. But yeah, for Man United, when you were pairing him with Nemanja Vidic, I think probably them two were probably the best centre-back pair in
Prem's
Premier
ever
League
seen.
history. Yeah, probably.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay, right, we're going to go into midfield. We're going to go right wing, current teammate of yours.
Yes, right wing. So we're going to go down the Watford link this time. And somebody who's just won the African Cup of Nations with Senegal. I get to see him day in, day out, and see actually what he's about and what he's got and how good he is. And he is incredibly good. He is frighteningly good. His pace is like nothing I've ever seen. I honestly think he's probably the fastest player I've ever played with, acceleration-wise, and just work rate from him as well. Most of the time when you get these sort of skillful wingers that want to get on the ball and take players on and get balls into the box, they aren't really willing to work and get back and defend. But Ismail Sarr has got all of it, honestly. He has got all of it. I still think he doesn't quite know how good he is, and I think he can still improve an awful lot.
He's only 24,
He's
mate.
24 years old. Like
he's played in the Prem twice, like, so obviously in the first
separate seasons,
two separate seasons,
Yeah.
and he's got, 5 in 16?
Yeah.
For a team that, you've struggled, you've had a difficult season, bottom type team. 5 in 16.
Mate,
he's pretty special,
honestly,
isn't he?
He could go on and be an absolute monster of a player. Honestly, for Watford's sake, I hope we can hold on to him. But in football nowadays, you just never know. But he is absolutely top class. Very, very quiet guy. Very quiet, honestly. Almost, he's not shy. He just likes to keep himself to himself. Like we have obviously got the Watford group chat. He doesn't want to be on the Watford group chat, so he's like, he won't be on it. He's not involved. He don't get involved in any of that kind of stuff.
The Watford group chat.
Yeah,
all players into there.
All the players are in that, apart from Ismail Sarr. And he just don't get involved. He keeps himself to himself. You see it on the Saturday. He'll play the game and then he goes home, and that's it. And that's all you hear from him.
That's all right, isn't it?
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Right. Okay. So have a little chit chat about this WhatsApp group then.
What do you mean the WhatsApp group?
The WhatsApp group. So you're admin, aren't you?
I am admin.
So Big Troy the admin?
Big Troy was admin. Obviously, when players move on, or
Yeah,
they
well,
leave,
Troy was alpha, weren't he? And now,
was, yeah,
and
he
now
was a
you're
big dog, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely not an alpha. I'd say I'm more of a sort of what's the C word?
beta.
C? What's the C? Chill. I'm the chill guy. Yeah, I'm the chill one. Yeah, it's the same as any football club though. You have a group chat. You like if stuff's happening, you put it on there. If you're having like a group like activity or group dinner, you put it on. When we're at away games, you need it because like you can say about the tickets are being collected here or picked up from here. So that's the group chat. Group chats back in the day used to be a lot more active. I'll say that for a fact. Yeah, it used to be a lot more active. People would be putting all sorts on there. I think a lot of people are scared now to put stuff on.
I think we maybe need a separate Fozcast on football WhatsApp groups, don't we?
We keep the banter sort of down to a minimum now because people I think are afraid of
be scared,
of stuff getting out and stuff. But group chats are a thing now. Every football club in the country, in the world, has got a group chat. Guaranteed.
Right, okay. We have got Ismaila Sarr flying down the right wing. On the left wing, we've got your old Baggies boy, Fozcast guest.
Yes. When we had him on the Fozcast a few months back,
brilliant.
He was absolutely top class. And I actually said he's probably got one of the most underrated left foots in Premier League history. Yep. His record of assists speak for themselves. Appearances for West Brom, for Northern Ireland, an all-round absolute top bloke. He was captain for a long time. Chris Brunt, what a guy! Honestly, what a guy! And his left foot would fill many goalkeepers up and down the Premier League with dread and fear when they saw him about to put a corner or a cross or a free kick into the box, because 9 times out of 10 it was on the money. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10 when it was on the money, you knew you had Craig Dawson or Gareth Macaulay trying to get on the end of it.
Jonas Olsen.
Oh, Jonas Olsen. Just to make it even worse. Like, it was a nightmare, honestly. His left foot was just... It was top.
65 Northern Ireland caps, 3 goals. He just retired last season, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Player of the Year for Baggies 08-09. And
lovely.
I think it's important to say, isn't it? Like when you do this this kind of podcast and when you do these dream teams and stuff, it's obviously always populated with some of the greatest players that have ever played, isn't it?
Yeah.
So to have people like Chris Brunt in there, Gaz Macaulay, they're really good Premier League players, aren't they?
Players, mate. Don't get me wrong, it would be so easy to do a dream 11 and have like Giggsy on the left, Scholesy in the midfield with Gerard, and then David Beckham on the right, and all that kind of stuff. But it's not real. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to do it like that. I want to have nice little stipulations and do it about the players that I've played with that really have made me go, wow, you're a proper player here. You might not have the name attached to you, but you're a proper player.
Okay, so we got Brunty on the left, Ismaila Sarr on the right. In the middle of the park, there were some big options here.
Big options.
And you've gone for the Ginger Maestro, haven't you?
I have gone for Man United, Paul Scholes, my all-time favourite player, without doubt. I was so lucky that I got to see him up close and personal and see what he was about and play with him as well. And he was just the most natural player that you will see. The best striker of a ball, the connection that he used to get with the ball every single time was just like nothing you've ever seen.
Not necessarily the hardest, the best connection.
Nah, mate, he could munt it, mate. Have you seen some of the goals he scored?
God,
Remember the one against Villa with Gabor Karayi in goal where they've crossed it from a corner?
Yeah.
Edge of the 18-yard box, ran onto it first time, bosh, drilled it, crossbar. Oh, mate. He could drill the life out of a ball and he would happily, from 30 yards, get it out of his feet and just munt it, mate. Honestly, he was world class. Like, just effortless. He just knew what he was doing. He's one of those type of players where he had that low centre of gravity. His head was always on a swivel. His technique was second to none. The amount of players that you see, the big players that played for Barcelona, like Italians that would come out and say, Scholesy's the player we all look up to.
Zidane did, didn't he?
Zidane did. You had Messi,
Xavi,
you had Xavi, Iniesta, all saying that kind of thing.
He seems to be the footballer's footballer.
The footballer's footballer. He's just pure technique, absolute pure technique. And he again, as a lad, was just lovely, mate. Honestly, he was top class. He just, again, one of those players who would come in, do his work and go home. You'd never hear anything else from him. He wouldn't be complaining. He wouldn't be moaning. He just wanted to get on with it, do his stuff and get out. And that was it.
One club man, wasn't he?
One club man, yeah.
How did he train?
Brilliant. He was top. He was top every single day. You do see a lot of players who might be top players, but in training they just sort of go through the motions because that didn't excite him. But he would just come in and do his business, mate. He was absolutely top class in training. There's obviously that funny story from when I first signed at Man United, and I had literally just signed a couple of days before. I was doing some goalkeeper coaching, goalkeeper training with Tony Coton and a few of the other goalies, drilled kind of wave training, whatever it was. And somebody played the ball into Scholesy, and he's just moved his body into this position, and first time done a half volley across the pitch over to like Giggsy or wherever it was, and it was just so natural, so effortless that I've involuntarily just gone, wow, like, oh, that's incredible. And Tony Coton, who's serving the goalkeepers, the volleys, has just sort of looked at me and gone, was it Scholesy? I went, yeah, it was Scholesy. Yeah. And he was like, mate, you wait till you see what he can really do. And that he wasn't wrong either. He was the beauty of it is every single player that's played with Scholesy says the same thing as well. He's the best player they've ever seen.
Yeah, he was 66 England caps, 14 goals. So,
never really had the best of England careers, did he really?
Well, it was interesting because people used to say, I remember he was on, what was he doing? He was doing something with Gaz Nev. It was, I think it was it Soccer Box? And he was saying, people always used to say I used to play on the left, but he said, I kind of played towards the left for United, so I didn't really ever get that
argument. But he actually played on the left for England. He played a World Cup on the left once because you had Gerard and Lampard as well. So it was kind of like they shoehorned him in to get him into that midfield, which...
He retired quite early for England,
it's not really his position, though. And again, he's one of those guys who probably wouldn't have really enjoyed it when he was away with England. He's out of his sort of creature comforts. He likes playing his football at Manchester United, going home to his family, and that's what he was about. And I can understand why it didn't really work for him at England so much.
How good was he compared to Xavi and Iniesta?
Yeah, he's on the same level.
Just same convo.
Same convo. Same conversation. Same very similar sort of players. I'd say probably a little bit more sort of like substance or end product, maybe, and that's the only thing I can say about it, because you're talking about Xavi and Iniesta, two of the greatest players. Greatest
a bit of bite though, didn't he, as well, Scholesy?
Yeah, he did have a bit of bite. Is obviously a lot of people make fun of his tackling, and he was the worst tackler in the world. But you'd never try and take that out of Scholesy, because he had that little bite, that little will to win, and that's what I mean when I say substance. I don't necessarily mean end product. I mean sort of will to win and the drive to really grit his teeth and get down and dirty.
Nice, love that, Scholesy. There we go.
Scholesy.
So we've got honourable mentions for Frank Lampard and Steve Gerrard.
Mate, you can't not have an honourable mention for Stevie G and Frank Lampard. The only reason I can't get them in because I only played with them at England and I can't put any more England players in. But Stevie G, like, for me, if I had to pick the pecking order of Scholesy, Stevie G and Frankie Lampard, it would sound bad that someone's got to come third, but somebody has got to come third. But I would still always put Scholesy, Stevie G and Frankie Lampard. But that's no slight on any of them, because they were all absolute world-class players. And if they were playing today, they're £100 million players at least. They are, probably even more. Like, they're like Frank. Look at Frank Lampard. I put third. Then look at his scoring record throughout his career for Chelsea. The amount of assists and the amount of goals that he got from midfield. Like, there's probably never been a midfield player who would get into that second 6-yard box and score as many goals as Frank Lampard, probably ever again. Like, a one of a kind.
I mean, so I've got to ask the question, mate, about England. Why didn't it ever quite happen at that time?
With that team? With that team?
Yeah.
Like with Stevie G and Frank and Rio and all that. And Rooney.
Here's my take on it. It was the manager. We didn't have the right... I honestly believe if Venables from 96 was there in like 2000s or something like that, or Harry Redknapp, or dare I say like Allardyce.
Yeah, somebody, maybe.
I think that could have been the difference.
Yeah, probably is. It probably is down to that. It's very hard to put your finger on the exact what it is. But it was a different time as well. It was. Like, the England team back then was a different time because, like you say, now it feels like the country are behind the England team now, doesn't it? It does. It feels like they get behind them, they want them to win, they look forward to the games, and they want to support them. Whereas then, it always felt like they were waiting for us to fail. They were waiting for something to happen so the press could jump on it.
So
and do you
think the pressure?
Yeah, I do.
Pressure was there,
which is mad because you had the top players, the players playing for Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal. You had the big boys, but it was a different kind of scrutiny back then for England because they were just waiting for you to fail so they could get the daggers out and they could put you on the front of the paper and make you look a fool.
Incredible. Right. Okay. Right. Centre midfield partner for Scholesy.
Yep.
We've got an ex-Watford teammate of yours.
Yeah, ex-Watford teammate. Somebody who, when I first signed for Watford, it was like 4 years ago, was just I was so taken aback at how good this player actually was. Again, somebody that just went about his business. Like, there must be a recurring theme of these sort of players in this team, but he would quite honestly come in, work his socks off, do his job, be absolutely brilliant at it at the same time, and then go home. You wouldn't hear from him. You wouldn't cause a fuss. But Abdoulaye Doucouré for Watford was just absolutely top class. Kind of a defensive midfielder, but would also get forward a little bit. He didn't mind getting forward, getting into the box, getting on the end of things. He would score a few goals. The way he kept possession was incredible. Another one of those players who was very good at having his head on a swivel and knowing what was around him. But his work rate was just unbelievable. Honestly, his stats back in the day were just phenomenal. Every game he was running near on 12 kilometres, which is top level, top level. And he would just do it, and it wasn't a thing to him. Like, he wouldn't be going, I'm tired or this and that. Just get on with it. And he was, a lovely bloke as well. A real top guy.
He started the season at Everton, didn't he? Like an absolute house on fire.
He's had a few injuries, He picked up a bad injury at Everton. I think he might have broke something. But he's been a bit unfortunate with injuries. He's had a few knee injuries when he was at Watford, which ruled him out for a bit. But a guy that you want in your team, mate, because there's not many players that just get on with it, mate. In this day and age in football, I've seen the change in football where a lot of players are needy. They need a bit of love. They need a bit of attention. They need rubbing and pulling and all that kind of stuff. Mate, he didn't need that. He would run himself. He would do it all himself, and they're the kind of guys you want on your team.
Absolutely. Still only 29 as well.
29, mate. He's still got another 4 or 5 years of being at the top, honestly. Definitely. Everton have got an absolute player on his hands.
Yeah. So, right, midfield, we've got Scholesy and Doucouré in the middle, Ismail Assar on the right, Brunty on the left.
Mate, that sounds like a decent team.
We said we weren't going for like any kind of... Actually, that's a nice balanced midfield, isn't it?
I like that a lot.
Scholesy in his prompt.
Mate, we would be doing a bit. This team would. This team would be doing a bit.
Can I be in the coaching team?
What? What would you do?
I don't know.
What can you do?
Water boy or something? Right. Okay. Let's go up top.
Right. Okay. Right. We've got big boys here, by the way.
Oh, we've got the biggest of the big boys.
The biggest of the big boys. Yeah, the biggest of the big boys. And this is why I had to hold off with all the other Man United players, because I've got 2 monsters, absolute monsters. And the first one I'm going to start with, because I want to save the best for last, right? For me, not the best, but I want to save somebody for last. But the first one I'm going to talk about is CR7, Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, okay? So, obviously, being at Man United with him, again, you get to see the levels and you get to see what he's got. And it was just unfair at times. He was that good. Like, he had absolutely everything. And his mentality for me was just the most elite level mentality I've ever seen in anybody. Like, nothing.
Why? What? Break that down, though.
So when I say that, right, he would relentlessly do what he knew he was good at. Okay, so in games he would get the ball and go forward. He would just drive forward, right? And he would take players on. And sometimes he would get tackled and he'd lose it and it would break down and they would go on a counter-attack, yeah? But the next time he got the ball, he would learn from that tackle and then he would know how to address the next phase of play.
Okay.
So when he got the ball, he would think, right, I lost it on my left. I'm going to jink to my left. And then go... and he would just relentlessly keep going forward. So eventually, you would just hammer down that left back or hammer down that centre back to the point where they almost gave up in the end because they knew they couldn't stop him.
So he'd just keep. So he wouldn't be one of these players where if he got tackled, he'd lose confidence.
No,
He'd just go again.
His confidence would never ever get affected whatsoever. He would just keep doing it and keep driving. His acceleration wise, top speed. Like
hardest worker,
because
that was it. You got to remember that was a time at United when you had Keena,
mate, you had everybody.
Keno, Gaznev,
you had absolutely everybody. Ryan Giggs, you had Rio Ferdinand,
and he worked harder than all of them.
He worked harder than all of them. He was the first one in the morning. Like, he would get in an hour before everybody else. Yeah, so we would be in from 8 o'clock in the morning. Right, he would go. But he wouldn't just get in and chill. He would be in and he would be doing gym work. He would be properly working himself, getting himself ready to go for training, because training for him was a big deal. Like, he would want to win. He was doing everything properly. If we're doing a shooting practice and he missed the target, it would be a problem. Like, he was kicking off, moaning, swearing in Portuguese, swearing in Spanish. Like, he wanted to score every single time. Like, don't get me wrong, I think he's probably got a bit of an ego about himself, because you have to be at that level. You have to have a bit of an ego, right?
Of course.
But his will to win and the drive and the elite mentality is like nothing I've ever seen again.
So when you were there together at United, has it surprised you at all that he's gone on to be top 3 greatest players ever?
Nah, no chance does it surprise you. I remember when they sold him, Man United. Like, I think I had just left that season or the season before, and I was on holiday, and I remember they were talking about Real Madrid making this like £80 million bid or something like that, right? And I remember thinking, blimey, now that's an outrageous amount of money, but there's no way they'll sell him. There's no way. Like, you can't. Like in world football, like back then, yeah. If you were to buy Messi or Ronaldo, yeah, you could have probably charged what you wanted because you can't replace them, yeah? So there's a difference between having a Messi or Ronaldo in their pomp and then having the next level down, yeah? You could fill your team with the next level downs, but they still wouldn't be able to do what the Messi or Ronaldo did, yeah? So you can't replace them.
But wasn't the kind of agreement that he had with Fergie that it was, give me one more year and I'll promise you we'll let you go?
I don't know, mate. That's between them. I can't tell you that kind of thing. All I know is that you cannot replace the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, so it was a bit of a surprise that he went, but it's no shock that he went on and did what he did because he is what he is, mate. And there's something to be said that probably the Spanish league's a little bit easier than the English league. So if he can do it in the Premier League and he can smash goals in left, right, and centre, because you've got to remember he had it all. He scored goals with his head, left foot, right foot. Like the amount of hat tricks he scored, ridiculous. He could do everything, mate.
Well, look at it this way, right? So this is, for me, this is why Ronaldo edges Messi.
Yeah.
Because Premier League, most physical league in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. He's been here. He's done it.
Yeah.
La Liga, the Galacticos,
Same
all
thing.
the big boys,
Same
Messi,
thing.
done it.
Yeah.
Serie A, I'll do that as well.
Done it.
International,
Boom.
won the Euros.
Sweet as that.
Top goal scorer, it's 115 goals.
For Portugal.
Yeah.
Whoa.
In 184 games. Over 800 career goals.
Nah,
right? So top level pro. If you play 400 games in your career, that's a good career, right?
Blooming right it is.
Yeah. He scored 807 goals.
Stupid.
56 hat-tricks.
Showing off.
And then
50, how many hat-tricks?
56 hat-tricks.
56 times 3, just in like, oh, that's jokes, mate. 56
Prem,
hat-tricks.
FA Cup, League Cup, La Liga, Copa del Rey, Champions League, 4.
I told
Serie
you.
A.
I told you the time, like, you know, when we had the cup final, right? So we had the when I was at United, League Cup final against Tottenham, and it went to penalty shootout, right? And we were walking up the pitch, and honestly, right? So I'm a year or two older than Cristiano, right? I think I'm a year older, and we're walking up the pitch, getting ready for the penalty shoot, and he's come over to me, put his arm around like me, like he's my dad, and he's gone, "This is your time. This is your time." And I'm going, "Yeah, thanks, Cristiano. Thank you very much." Like, honestly, but like, it was Cristiano Ronaldo, man. I was buzzing my tree off.
He's just got that effect, though, isn't it? Like when you lot did him 4-1 this season at the Vic, and it was, I've never seen a football ground like it.
People are buzzing just to see the spectacle
the
of
presence.
seeing Ronaldo.
But I remember when you were at United and you used to sort us out with tickets and that, and we went into the old players' lounge, and you used to come out of there, and it'd come out the door into the tunnel, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And I remember coming out, and I'd left
out of the players' lounge. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd left it a bit late. I think
having a few beers.
Me and the lads had a couple of beers or something. Left it a bit late, so security were there, kind of holding you back. And I remember walking out, and he was there.
Yeah.
Ronaldo.
He's always last to go out.
Yeah.
You might have noticed it.
Okay.
But people at home notice this. Watch this, all right? Because he's always the last player to come out. It's again, this is that sort of side to him where he wants to be like the last one.
The spectacle.
The spectacle. You wait to see me, all right? You wait to see me.
He was, when I walked out the tunnel, and he was there, and he was younger. He hadn't done all the things he'd done at that point. But even then, I remember
even at Man United,
walking out
do that, yeah.
and going, "Oh,
yeah."
He's a presence.
I remember he would purposely wait for everybody to get up, and then he would make sure he was the last one to come out because he wanted people to go, "Oh, here he is, here he is." And what is he? What?
Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, no, that's him though. That's him. It's like he knows he is the shit, basically.
He's the show pony, isn't he? Yeah, well, he's not the show pony.
Yeah,
no,
but he knows it, and he knows people are there to watch him. So he'll make a show of it. Like when we played him at Old Trafford a few weeks back, it was 0-0. And I'll tell you what, he should have gone down for a penalty, by the way, in that game.
He should have
gone down for a penalty. Right? They played the ball through, and it didn't get cut out. I ran to the edge of my box, right? He's ran onto it, and he's got there first, right? And he's nudged it to the side of me. But as I slid out, I've absolutely booted the life out of his ankle, right? So my left foot, I have kicked him so hard, right? I thought, oh, I might have broke my foot here. I thought, oh, I might have broke my foot here. Because as I got up, it kind of gave way a bit, but I was like, oh my God, that kills, right? He just carried carried on running like it hadn't even touched the sides.
I'm surprised he didn't go down.
I'm so like if he'd have gone down, it's a penalty. But they
Yeah.
didn't even look at it or anything. Yeah, they carried on. Thankfully, he cut it back and then they missed the chance, sort of thing. But he should have gone down. It would have been a penalty. But I booted his leg so hard, right? I'm thinking he's got to be bad here. He's got to be sore. He might even be coming off, right? He didn't even flinch, mate. Honestly, it was a joke.
So it was a good game. Nearly nicked it at the end.
I was
in
bit. I had to go for an X-ray on my foot.
I remember.
I had to go for an X-ray on my foot, right? Because for about 3 or 4 days afterwards, I could not put any pressure through it whatsoever. It killed so bad. Like, but I had proper bone bruise and all that kind of stuff. Bit of swelling. Like, it killed. But he was fine, mate. He was just didn't even flinch.
Love it. So in that game, you told me something yesterday actually that really made me laugh. So you're known as the master of running down the clock, aren't you?
Yes.
Got to do what you got to do for your team.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So tell us about the referee.
Yeah. So the referee was Kevin Friend.
It was
Kevin Friend, right? So so let me set the scene for you, okay? You're away at Old Trafford, right? We're scrapping for points.
Nicking a point.
We need everything we can get, right? We need everything we can get. It's about the 85th minute, and I've got a bit of a reputation in the Premier League of being a bit of a time waster, yeah. But it's not all my fault, right? I've been at West Brom. I've been at these sort of teams where you've got to do a bit of that. It's like game management. Do you know what I mean? It's just you've got to be clever with it, right? So. It's the 85th minute. We're 0-0. We're holding on, you know. Man United are attacking. They're having a lot of the ball, right? So anytime the ball goes out of play or I get it in my hand, I'm going to fall on it. If the ball goes out of play behind me for a goal kick, I'm going to take my time.
Ankles playing up.
Ankle sore, all that kind of stuff. You've just got to be a bit cute and be a bit clever, right? So anyway, the ball went out for a goal kick. I take my time. I'm time wasting. I go and get the ball slowly, walk back, put it on the spot. No, actually, I might move it a little bit. Let me put it over there. It looks a bit dodgy there. So I've walked over there. And as soon as you pick the ball up to go and move it to somewhere else, the referees hate it because the crowd go wild, right? The referees hate it. So Kevin Friend is the referee. Straight away, boom, sprints over to me, right? It's the first time he's warned me, in fairness. It's the first time he's warned me. So he can't give me a yellow card.
He was at it in the 10th minute.
He can't give me a yellow card yet, all right? So he has to warn me, right? So he's come up to me. He's gone, Fozzy, I'm going to give you a yellow card in a minute. You're taking the piss. I'm going to give you a yellow card, all right? But this is the beauty of it. This is the bit that made me absolutely piss myself, right? He's gone, and if I give you a yellow card, I'm unsubscribing from the Cycling's UK. And mate, as soon as he said that, I went, nah, Kev, mate. Kev, please, like, give me a yellow card. Just don't unsubscribe, all right? Don't unsubscribe. So he kind of just sort of pointed at me. But, like, point taken either way. Because he didn't, like, after that, thankfully, I don't think the ball went out, so I didn't have to time waste or anything like that. But I thought, yeah, decent that, to be fair. It's a good bit of banter, that, from Kevin. Well done, mate.
That's good, isn't it? Because a lot of people will think that the referees have got to behave a certain way. But
no, don't get me wrong. You do get referees who are a bit naughty and are a bit like... You do get referees where they think they're the man, they think they're the boss, and they're like
ego.
Yeah, a bit of an ego gets in the way, kind of thing. But I have noticed lately, actually, there's been a lot of referees who are they're sensible. Do you know what I mean? They've got their sensible hat on. They can read the situation. They'll talk to you like a human being, and you get better results when you talk to the players on the level.
Of course you do.
Instead
They'll respect you more, won't they?
Exactly.
Didn't you see him? Wasn't he third official?
Yeah, so he was fourth official, at Southampton a couple of weeks afterwards as well. And we were just waiting in the tunnel to go out for the game to kick off. And he's come over and he's gone all right. I went, all right, Kev, nice to see you, mate. And he went, I never did unsubscribe. Went,
good lad.
What a guy.
Good lad. So yeah, CR9.
CR7.
CR7. I always do that, don't I? R9. Yeah, R9.
The real Ronaldo.
Yeah, the real Ronaldo. Ronaldo, greatest player of all time?
Probably. He's up there. I think it's hard to say because they're different
Our
eras.
generation.
Yeah, our generation probably.
But you can't say.
I'm Team Ronaldo. I'm Ronaldo just because I saw it. You can't say he's...
But you can't say that Ronaldo is better than Zidane. Because Zidane was my guy growing up.
Sure,
he was
mate.
like my
You're talking
hero.
about top of tops, yeah?
But they were so different.
This is where opinion comes into it, mate, and this is the beauty of football.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that's why you can't ever shut anyone down and go, no, you're wrong, because it's all a matter of opinion, and that's the beauty of football. That's why I love it, mate.
Yeah, it's
That's
brilliant.
why we get to sit here and do podcasts and chat gump with people, because it's all about opinions on this, that, and whatever. That's how the world works.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Right, so we have got the last spot up for grabs, up top. Who are you going for?
So another one of my Manchester United teammates, somebody who I honestly still think to this day was probably underrated. He don't get me wrong, he's a monster player, and everybody knows this guy, and everybody knows who he is. But I think when we look back on the Premier League and we look back at strikers and people who have scored goals and done this and done that, I still think people don't put enough respect on this guy's name. I really don't, because he was just incredible. He's the type of guy that would start every single game, because the manager knew that if he said, I'm going to start you on the bench, I'm going to rest you today, he would go, no, there's no way you start. I'm playing the game, and he'll play every single minute of it. He hated to come off. Wayne Rooney, for me, like, what a monster. What an absolute monster. I've never seen somebody so driven to win every single facet of everything. Like, so whether it was a flick on header, whether it was a ball around the corner, winning a block, winning a tackle, winning possession, the ball goes out for a throw-in and somebody tries to get it from him quick, he would stop them. Like, everything about him was just driven to win. Like, aggression levels were just top.
So how would you kind of shape this up then? So, will to win, aggression versus
no.
ability.
We haven't even talked about ability yet.
Yeah, so what I'm saying
I haven't
is
even mentioned ability.
Yeah, so talk to me about his ability.
Yeah, the ability is, mate, he was just he had everything. He had absolutely everything.
He wasn't flash, was he?
No, he wasn't flash, but he just knew what worked and he knew what he could do, and he would just be relentless at doing it. Again, somebody who never let pressure or the fact that he was an absolute megastar. Because when you got to think, he's probably one of the hottest prospect this country's ever produced in terms of footballing talent. Like Wayne Rooney back in the day, everybody in the world knew who Wayne Rooney was. You could be at the far-flung corners of the world and everybody would know who Wayne Rooney was. But he never let that ever affect him. He would just go out on the pitch and he would do the same thing, and he would drive Man United to win games that they had no right to win because he wanted to win. So when you look back through the spine of the team, you got Scholesy behind him, and you got Gary Neville in defence, from the Man Vidic, Rio Ferdinand, Edwin van der Sar in goal. Like, they would all look at each other and be like, yeah, we're winning this. And it would just, everybody would drive everybody else. And I think that's the bit, for me, that I love to see in players. I do. I love to see a will to win, a will of, like, we're not giving this up. We're going to keep going. And like I say, mate, some of the goals that he scored, like, you read his record out there for the amount of goals that he scored. And appearances and stuff.
Just ridiculous. Because people will always say, so 120 England caps?
Yeah.
53 goals?
Wow.
Ridiculous. So people will often say, but he wasn't a natural goal scorer. He wasn't an out-and-out goal scorer. Well, only Shearer scored more goals than him in the Prem.
He was, mate, he was that guy who could score everything. He could score he'd score with his head, left foot, right foot. He had everything, mate. He used to, I've got to say, in training as well, he would train his socks off, mate. Another one of these guys who training meant something. He would really work hard. Like, if you were on his team in a six-a-side, you better be winning the game. You better be putting in a top performance yourself, because he would get after you. Like, if I was in goal and I was letting goals in, he would be happy to come back and, what are you doing? Like, he would have a go, mate.
Really?
He wanted to win everything.
So what I think's unfair, though, because people always compare him to Ronaldo, don't they?
Yeah.
In the fact that they were at United and whatever. I think his genetics work against him.
Well, just his look at what he looks like.
Yeah, I just think he's not going to ever be shredded like Ronaldo.
Yeah, he's not that type.
And,
yeah.
no,
aesthetically, he's not built like some of the athletes and specimens.
And I think people use that as a beating stick against him.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. Which is wrong, because, like I say, I see so many players, that physically they probably have not got what some of these guys have got. Yeah, Scholesy, for example, not a specimen. He's not muscles on muscle.
No,
it didn't matter. Like I say it all the time. It's in your head, mate. A lot of football is in your head. It is massively in your head. And the players that I think I've named in this team were elite mentality of just knowing how to play football and knowing how to navigate any situation in football matches and knowing how to win.
Yeah, do you think we'd have won the Euros if he'd have
pick that team?
No, sorry.
I can't pick that team because I've got some foreign players.
No, remember when he broke his foot in the Euros,
one of his metatarsals or something like that. Possibly, mate. That's again, like, you can't ever say we should have, could have, would have. It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is, mate.
But like that England team, going back to that England team, like Michael Owen don't get a sniff. Do you know what I mean? Like, in this team, it's mad, the talent. People like Joe Cole, like,
I know, mate. We've missed out some absolute monsters. I've got some players here. Romelu Lukaku, I've played with. Baggies. He was still, don't get me wrong, he was young and he was very raw, but you could just see what he was going to turn into. Like, but I used to love playing with big Romelu. I knew that if I booted a ball up to him, he would be holding his player off, and he would have already looked what he's going to do with it. He knows what he's doing. He's holding it off, getting it down, and he's bringing somebody else into play. I think the thing with Romelu Lukaku is he needs to be playing for a team that plays for him. Yeah. So if the team know to get the ball up to Rom and then get round him, it will work, and Romelu will work. But I think
who's Pulis managing these days?
It was, yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Tony Pulis would buzz off Romelu Lukaku. That's what I've got. Gerard De La Fayeux. Gerard De La Fayeux.
Tell us about him.
Beautiful, mate. Again, a natural footballer. Came from the Barcelona La Masia, the academy. Again, somebody who's just a natural footballer. It's like he was born with a ball at his feet.
Do you know what though, mate? This is a fan thing to say, but he would be one of these where he's here one week and next week you don't even know.
Yeah,
I remember coming to watch him and not even noticing he was on the pitch.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes, like I say, he's not the most physical of players. So if we're up against a team that's physicality, most of the time the manager wouldn't even start him because he knows that it's not his game. But if we were playing against a team where we've got to play football, you give him the ball, mate, he can do it. Yeah. He's another one who would just relentlessly do the same thing. The amount of times in training, like you see these players who would sit a goalkeeper down. Gerard De La Fayeux used to do that to me all the time. Whilst we're saying about players who would sit goalkeepers down, Nicolas Anelka as well. Nicolas Anelka at West Brom, right? He was towards the end of his career. He'd already been through his pomp. He'd already played for all the big boys, Arsenal, Real Madrid, you name it. He's been there, done it. Yeah, PSG, everything. He's done it, right? But in training, still, Nicolas Anelka, he was probably 34, 35. Mate, he was a joke. He was
still quick.
He was elegant. He was effortless. He just knew how to play football, mate. And he would get in front of goal 1-on-1, and he would jink, and he would pretend to put it in a corner. I would dive. I would sit down, make me look a fool, and he would just roll it in the far corner. And he wouldn't. It was just so easy for him, and he had the best goal celebration ever. What a guy!
He did. So we won't pick a bench as such, but
I think we've had enough honourable mentions in there. Like I say, some of the players that have missed out today. I don't think it's just not a slight on them for sure. I have to mention them, but we had rules, we had stipulations, we had to stick by it, and I think we've named an absolutely bouting team, mate.
So run through it.
I fancy that team to win stuff in the Premier League. I really do. I fancy them. Right,
so let's just recap.
So let's quick recap. We've got Joe Hart in goal. We've got Ashley Cole at left back. We've got Stevie Carr at right back. Nemanja Vidic and Gareth Macaulay is my centre back pairing. Left wing, we've got Chris Brunt. Right wing, Ismail Sarr. Centre midfield, Paul Scholes and Abdoulaye Doucouré. And then up top, the two big boys, Rooney and Ronaldo.
Right, world-class team there. We're winning things. At the very least, we're competing.
Mate, we're super competing. Like, even if we don't win games, which we inevitably will win, but even if we don't, I think every one of them players is looking in the mirror at the end of the game and going, yeah, give it a bit today. Give it a bit today. I tried my nuts off.
Yeah, and who's your captain leading from the front?
Leading from the back, actually, John Terry.
Brilliant.
Got to be John Terry. Captain, like, he is captain material.
Wayne
Rooney, probably vice-captain.
Okay, and who's the gaffer?
It's got to be Sir Alex Ferguson. It has to be Sir Alex Ferguson. I've played with some really, really good managers along the years. Roy Hodgson, probably honourable mention. Got to be Sir Alex Ferguson.
Brilliant. I think that there you go.
Yeah?
What a team.
You happy with that team?
Mate, I'm happy with that team.
I am over the moon with that team. Considering that took me about 20 minutes this morning of looking through it, I am over the moon with that team.
Yeah.
We've stuck to the rules. We've stuck to the stipulations. Enjoyed that.
Me too, mate. That was a lot of fun.
Right, well done. Everybody, as always, thank you for listening. As we said earlier at the beginning of the pod, we have got some absolutely monsters coming up, something I'm really looking forward to delving into some of these players, some of these people, and finding out what makes them all tick. In the meantime, up the Fozcast.
Up the Fozcast.
Go on, the boys.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of the Fozcast. Don't forget to give us a follow on Spotify. Up the Fozcast.